Hi everybody, welcome to one of our first videos on math. We just started this week working on some division, and since the way that we are doing division or solving problems in division is a lot different than what you might have done in school. And so I hear a lot of parents complain that they can't help their kids with homework. And so I thought, well, I'm going to make a video and show you how to solve these problems like we solve them in class so that you can better understand what we're doing. I do want to say that I understand that the way you learn division is different than how they're learning and practicing in class. So I want to give some background on that. In sixth grade, when they get to sixth grade, there is a standard to learn long division. So they will get to learn the way that you learned how to divide. In fifth grade, we are practicing how to divide using our base 10 understandings. So the whole point of teaching them division right now is so that they understand the basics of division and they have more of an understanding for numbers and how numbers work in their place. From there, they'll be able to have a better understanding to be able to divide when they get into sixth grade math. On the FSA at the end of the year, they won't only need to know the answers to division problems, but they'll have to answer specific questions based on their base 10 understanding. When I say the words base 10, I mean anything that is a number that's in the hundreds, in the thousands, the 10,000s, and so on. So like the number 200, 300, 400, 70, 80. You can also think of it as ending in zero. They try to use the place and the value of numbers to divide. Before you watch me do a couple of examples, I do want to say that you might have to watch this more than one time. I also want to say that you might get frustrated and you might ask, like, why are they learning it this way? I'm going to say to you, just like I say to all my kids, this is important for you to know. We can talk about that and why it's important to understand numbers, but always keep a positive attitude and a growth mindset, and that's going to be more helpful all around. It'll help me in the classroom, and it'll help you in your frustrations at home if you have any practicing these problems as well. I haven't given math homework yet, but if they want to practice some problems and you can help them with it, that would be awesome too. So please just stay patient because it might be very confusing, but watch it all the way through and watch it again if you have to and if you have time. And if you still have questions, just give me a call or message me and we can do some more problems together. Or just have your kids watch the video too, because that could always be helpful. Again, I'm always here and available for you, if you need it, and let me know if this video helps you at all. Thanks. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna try a problem or two together now. First, I wanna say base 10 is any number that's based from either a 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. It's any number that's a duplicate of that. So a 300 or a 40 are all base 10s. You can also think of them as having zeros in their numbers. So I just wanted to give that background first. So the first problem we're going to do is 363 divided into two groups. I use the word distributed a lot, and we're going to use multiplication and subtraction to help us find this problem. So the first question that we ask ourselves is, how many thousands can I distribute to my two groups? Since there's no thousands here, I wouldn't distribute any thousands. We would need 2,000 to be able to distribute 1,000 into each group equally. So since I can't do thousands, I'm going to move on to the next question. How many hundreds can I distribute? So if I think to myself, if I distribute 100 to each group, which there's two groups, that would give me 200. And I have 363, so I can do that. So I'm going to give each group 100, so I have distributed a total of 200. Since I've distributed 200, I need to subtract that from our whole. So now our whole is 163. So I think back to myself, how many hundreds can I distribute to each group? Well, I see here that I only have 100. And since I can't give 100 to each group, since there's 2, I no longer can distribute hundreds. So now, instead of hundreds, I'm going to try to distribute tens. So some students decide to distribute tens one at a time. So we could do that. We could have 2 groups and each group give 10, which means we would only distribute 20. But as you can see, when we deduct 20 from our whole, we have 143 left. So you'll begin to notice that the student continues this 2 times 10 for a really long time until they get this number as close down to 0 as they can. What I've been trying to ask them is, how much more can we distribute other than 10? So maybe we can try 20 or 40, and they can do this thinking in their head. So in my head, I'm thinking 2 times 20 in each group would do 40. That's getting closer, but I have 143. Let me try 50. 2 times 50 gives me 100. That's pretty close. I'm going to go with 50. 2 times 50 for each group means I'm distributing 100. I'm going to deduct 100. I also try in class for them to keep this organization so that they can see their work. And you'll notice that anything that I subtract is over here. And this 2 that I'm dividing by is always on the left side. All right, so now I have 43 left. I would ask myself, okay, if I have 43, how many groups of 10 can I give each? Some students will try to do 2 times 10 again to give them 20. But I'm going to ask them, okay, what other number can I use? And they should get to 20 per group, which will give them 40. They will deduct 40, which will leave them with 3. Then they ask themselves again, how many 10s can I distribute? Well, since there's only 3 left, they can't distribute any more 10s. So we go on to our final question. How many 1s can I distribute? Well, if there's 3, and we needed to have it in 2 groups, I could at least give each one 1. So if I give both groups at least 1, that means I've distributed 2. And that gives me 1 left. Now, because this 1 is less than our groups, we're not using fractions or decimals right now, but it is possible. I tell them it is possible to divide that 1 and make it a half, really, in this situation. But right now, we're just calling it a remainder. So now we're ready to calculate how much each group received. Well, each group received a 100, a 10, a 50, a 20, and a 1. So if we add those together, we get 181. 181 into each of the 2 groups with a remainder of 1. We're going to try this again with a different one. We're going to try with thousands. So let's try 4,691 divided by 3 this time. Now, in 5th grade, they're only going to get up to 5 digits divided by 1 digit. So we're never going to have more than 1 digit here in this place. All right, so let's start over with our questions. Feel free to make these questions at home too, so that you have them. So number 1, how many thousands can I distribute? Now I have 3 groups to distribute this time. So I know that at least I can distribute 1,000 to each group. So 3 distributing 1,000 to each group means I'm distributing 3,000. I'm going to deduct that from my total. I now have 1,691. So I ask myself again, how many thousands can I distribute? Well, I know if each group gets 1,000, I need 3,000 in order to do that, but I don't have 3,000. And since I don't have 3,000, I can go on to the hundreds place. How many hundreds can I distribute? Well, I know if I only distribute 100 to each group, I'm only going to be able to deduct 300 because 3 times 100 is only 300. So I'm going to go a little bit more, and I'm going to try, let's see, 300, sorry. So 3 times 300 in each group means I'm distributing 900. So let's deduct that. At this point, what I see a lot in class is students either begin to add or they make a mistake with subtraction. So keep an eye out on their subtraction. 1 minus 0 is 1, 9. At this point, I show them that they can do 16 minus 9, or you can carry over. Still use my fingers. 791 is what's left. I know that I can't distribute 300 again because that was 900. Be careful here too, because some students will do 300 again and put 900 to subtract here, and they'll wind up subtracting wrong, where they should have gotten a negative number. So they always need to think to themselves, do I have enough to distribute the amount that I need to? Since we can't do 300, let me see if I could do 200. 3 times 200 would give me 600, and I do have enough for 600. So I'm going to try that next. Some students might have done 3 times 500 at this part, but there's no wrong answer, as long as they're getting to it. So now I have 191. Can I distribute another 100 for each group? No, because I need at least 300, and I don't have 300. I only have 191 left. So let me move on to the tens. How many tens can I distribute? I know for sure it'll be more than 110 because that's just 30. Let me think if it was 5. 3 times 50 is 150. That gets me pretty close. Let's try that. All right, I got down to 41. So I think I could at least do one more 10 in each group since that's 30. Oh, getting really close. Now, I know I can't distribute any more 10s because I need at least 30 here to distribute more 10s. So now I'm going to go down to how many 1s can I distribute? At this point, I'm going to ask myself, 3 times what number is going to get me closest to 11? Now I know 3 times 4 is 12, but I don't have 12, I have 11. So I must do 3 times 3, which is 9. That gets me pretty close. And it looks like I'll have a remainder since there's 2 left over. And I don't have enough. Well, I guess you could divide, but we're not going to do fractions right now. So now it's time to calculate how much each group received, which is this middle column right here. They received 1,000, 300, 200, 50, 10, and 3. So I know at least 1,000. 300 and 200 is 500. 50 and 10 is 63. If students feel more comfortable adding these up, they can, but that also means that they need some more help with their base 10 because this is just place value and adding it together for each place. So our answer here is 1,563, remainder of 2. Really hope I didn't make a mistake on the video. If I do, please call me out. I know that this can be frustrating, a frustrating way. I appreciate you at least trying and giving your students the help they need. I promise next year in 5th grade they will be doing long division, and because they can do this so well, they're going to rock long division and understand every single thing and every single step. So you really are helping no matter how frustrating. I'm available anytime for any questions that you have. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you replay this video over and over to help your kid at home with division. Thanks.